Papa Legba is usually depicted as either an old man with a cane or depicted as a child. Papa Legba is depicted as a trickster spirit. The characteristics of Papa Legba match the characteristics of the personality type of a Gemini. Why do they call Papa Legba a trickster spirit? Now, my whole intent is to take the spookism, the spooky stuff, out of this science. When we tell allegories and we tell stories, and when you have in recent, we're more disconnected from our past than ever, more disconnected from our ancestral ways of life than ever. When was this? About 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, when people would say the old sayings aren't true. And that was always a red flag to me. I remember this one girl, she was adamant about, they said birds flock together. That's not true. So, and I used to ask people, so every society of humankind all represented these metaphors, these sayings. They manifested in different ways in each culture. Going back to written, before written, we spoke them. Way before written, writing and drawing and all that, this was spoken. Going back to the dawn of man. And now you get here. And just in this culture, in this society, in recent, it's so much smarter than the people who didn't have to rely on other people to feed them, who didn't have to go in the supermarket to go get food to eat, and you don't know what you're eating. Who didn't have to rely on a system, need to be a job or whatever, in one form or fashion to exist. Somehow, this where we at in modern society, somehow is more, is smarter, and no more than every other society of people throughout, before recorded history. But somehow that makes sense to you that right now, not even when we were children, but right now, because even stuff that your parents and grandparents taught you, all that's not true. Which all that is no more than a reiteration or manifestation of hundreds of thousands of years of information handed down. And right now, you're smarter than all them combined. And all of them was wrong. Although those stories and those points of references, they continue to manifest throughout history, before recorded history. They continue over and over again in every society over and over and over and over again to manifest. But get here, that's not true. That's the world we living in. It's not everybody, but that's the world we living in. And if it's not us, we still have to engage these people and come across these people. Even if you're not engaging, you're still coming across them. Even if you learn not to engage them, you're still coming across them. Even if, whatever, you're still encountering something about these people. Papa Legba has been represented in different forms throughout recorded human history in different societies on different continents. Has been represented as the same type of character, a spirit, a deity. Even now, when I say these things are faculties of the mind, even the spirit of Papa Legba, even if you want to make him a physical deity, a spirit, there's still something going on in our minds when we get to a point in life, what may be called the crossroads, or what is called the crossroads, when it's time to change, grow. We want to get something done. We want to accomplish something. We still have to get to a point of making that declaration. So who are we making that declaration to? You still, in metaphorical terms, the crossroads in a metaphorical space. You get to a point where you have to make a choice in life. And you always having crossroads all the time. Making decisions, making choices. We have free will. Now, people may influence your decision by either physical intimidation, physical abuse, psychological and emotional intimidation, psychological and emotional abuse. Manipulation needed be covert, overt. Manipulation needed be soft-spoken or brutally spoken. You still get at crossroads. And you have to overcome whatever that challenge is that meets you if you want to grow, cross over, cross roads. If you want to get beyond that point, you have to overcome that challenge, that crossroad, that road that did cross your path. So need be, if you want to look at Papa Legba as a physical person or a physical spirit, need be if you want to look at Papa Legba as a faculty of your own mind, need be if you want to look at Papa Legba as some faction of the spirit world, it still doesn't negate the fact of, in life as humans, we get to these crossroads in life where we have to make a decision. We either overcome and we meet and rise to the challenge and we cross that point, we cross that road, or for whatever reason, we have free will. It doesn't matter if people are manipulating you. It doesn't matter if people are trying to manipulate you. It doesn't matter if people are coercing you. People are intimidating you, manipulating you. It doesn't matter if they're doing it soft. It doesn't matter if they're doing it hard. It doesn't matter if they're doing it brutal. It doesn't matter if they're doing it with a smile on their face. It doesn't matter how they're doing it. You still have free will. And even with these people who may be doing these things, that in itself is a crossroad of you standing up, or you're going to either let it stop you and block you, and you don't move on, you don't cross that road, you don't grow, you get stuck right there. That in itself is a crossroad. And what happens in life, you become spiritually stronger, spiritually wiser, spiritually acute, spiritually in tuned. And the more and more of those crossroads you come across, more and more of those challenges in life you don't back down to, the stronger and stronger you get spiritually, mentally. And there's rewards to that. There's battles. There's physical threats. Need be real or contrived, made up, where people try to threaten you and make you feel threatened. Or they may physically stop you or try to stop you. It's still a crossroad. And the more and more you get to go through life, the more and more you cross these roads, and the more and more you stand up and rise to the challenge, and you start to not back down. The stronger and stronger you get, the easier and easier you start flowing through these transitions in life, these crossroads. And even as the story goes, you go to Papa Legba. You ask Papa Legba for permission to cross that road. Papa Legba serves in folklore and in certain religious practices as an intermediate between the spirit world and the physical world. And spirit, the psyche and the spirit, the mind, is one and the same. You have to decide that you want something. And until you decide you want it, you're never going to get to that crossroad. And you may decide that you want something and get to that crossroad, and you get back down or talked down or manipulated or bullied. Or you just might be totally scared to cross them. And you never get strong. And actually you start getting weaker and weaker and weaker mentally and spiritually. Your will starts to deplete. I get attacked more by people who have been to those crossroads in life and have been bullied, coerced, which is bullying, manipulated, or just downright, for whatever reason, scared to cross those roads. A lot of times, the most people who try to give me the hardest time in life are those who got to those crossroads and couldn't rise or didn't rise to the challenge of being able to cross them. So they sit up there and try to stop and stand in my path and stop me from crossing these roads. And when you make these situations about people, you miss the whole point. We're people. We have a spirit. We do things in the spirit of a spiritual energy. And oh my goodness, what's the name of Ephesians 6:11? The full armor, just in Ephesians. That's in the Bible. It tells you how to overcome these obstacles and how to get the strength and where to get the strength to overcome the obstacles, to transition, to crossroads. But it starts off with a declaration. Now, when they're doing a metaphor or making it into a fable in a story, and they'll tell a story of somebody going to an actual physical two roads that cross and going and meet Papa Legba or whatever they call the spirit and ask him for something to be able to have the skill, need, or authority, strength to cross those roads, to get to the next point, to get to the next level, to accomplish a goal. But it all starts off with a declaration. So, does it matter if Papa Legba is an actual physical person, an actual physical, well, I don't know if you could say a physical deity, but an actual spirit or deity or a faction of the mind? Does any of that matter? Which one it is or not? Or is it all? Is Papa Legba all those things? Does it matter? Or is really what you should focus on, what the focus should be on, is those challenges in life, crossing the actual road itself, going on to the next level, or going and getting to where you want to go and accomplish what you want to accomplish. So does it matter what form Papa Legba is expressed in? To me, it doesn't. But the Bible literally tell you about these challenges and literally tell you how to overcome them and literally tell you that people are going to stand in your way and be these challenges in life. But people say that the Bible ain't real and they don't want to have nothing to do with that either. Yet, people delude themselves into believing that somehow this society we're living in, as tore up as this society is, that this is the smartest and the most intellectually inclined culture than every other culture since before recorded history of humans. So Papa Legba, the trickster spirit, if you want to look at it as a faculty of the mind, a lot of times it takes us a series of experiences and a series of things to it we go through to be able to see and unlock parts of our consciousness, our minds, so we can accomplish whatever we declare that we want to accomplish. And if you need Papa Legba to be a physical thing, then some people need Papa Legba to be a physical thing, and they interact with Papa Legba, do the physical thing. If you need Papa Legba to be a spiritual deity, some people go to Papa Legba as a spiritual deity, and some people they overcome parts of their consciousness. But the focus is on crossing the road. All this other stuff is other stuff. Papa Legba is the thing for this Gemini season. More to come on Papa Legba.